Hello, beautiful ones. In this video, I would like to talk about frequency scanning technologies, quantum devices, and corridors of consciousness that we are available to travel through if we want to, if we consent, and if we agree to participate in collective or in already pre-created scenarios or realities. So let's begin. And to start with, I invite you to open up your heart, to open up your mind, and to create an intention to connect to only truth, purity, and may it awaken your own divine remembrance. May it awaken and also provide pathways that activate your frequency, which allows you to connect to your truth, to your authentic self, to your spirit, spiritual core. So you remember who you truly are, your true origin, and you connect to yourself like never before. In this video, and also in every content that I share online, I am inviting you to perceive these messages as my truth, something that I live by, stand by. This is part of my personal journey, and this is what I channel through my own channel. And the source of it is my own oversoul, which is the unified field where all higher identities, the ascended identities that have completely transcended all realities of duality, are blended into one, which is the unified consciousness that sometimes speaks through councils of light, which are our galactic ancestors, our cosmic families, angelic families as well. So this is the source of my information. I am by any chance and not a part of any conspiracy theory, and to be honest, I don't want to be even hinting towards that direction, because I personally believe, and this is what I remember, I was born with this remembrance, that we all are one, we come directly from source, and within one divine plan of evolution for this universe and for the other universe, all beings are sovereign, all beings are free, and all beings are facilitating awakening experiences and also inviting to make better choices that are creating harmony, balance, and love, and allowing all beings who have forgotten that they are consciousness of love, that they come from source, that they are divinity itself, to remember. Let me show you my poodle. Sorry, this is not very professional, but she's walking here, and I had to do this. All right, let's begin. So, frequency technologies, what are they? Our civilization is a co-creation with extraterrestrial consciousness, with angelic consciousness, and consciousness that is completely outside of our universe. It is not the first time that we are experiencing life here on this planet, collectively, not saying that individually, of course, that is doesn't even need to be mentioned. But collectively, it's not the first time that we are here on Earth. There have been multiple seedings prior to this one, prior to our current race and civilization. Some of these previous versions of ourselves have succeeded in creating phenomenally advanced, technologically and spiritually developed societies, truly based on consciousness of love, abundance, the golden age, the one that we are aiming to upload and download and stabilize in this reality as well. And also some of the versions of our civilizations that have been failing badly, way more in radical ways than majority of humanity knows. So we all are born with complete access to those memories of failing civilizations and also rising and civilizations that have obtained ascended mastery consciousness and God source level, fully integrated all DNA strands and completely transcended any even trace of illusion, and liberated itself from karmic agreements, planetary agreements, collective agreements, even agreements with galactic star nations, and even this universe. So our consciousness is available to be liberated all over the field of creation once we choose to walk this journey. And many of us souls have already selected and have already made this choice to awaken. And this is why we are here on this planet Earth. Of course, not every single soul is consciously participating in ascension and evolution of intelligence and also spiritual intelligence consciously, but subconsciously we all are in it together. And this applies to parallel realities and parallel universes too. So because of our multidimensional truth and reality, because we outside of the physical body, we are so much more. We are intelligence, we are consciousness, we are frequency itself. So we are present and we are experiencing multiple realities simultaneously. Once again, it's not very relevant to perceive past and future as separate time continuums, because all realities exist simultaneously and they all are interconnected. So because of this truth that we are multidimensional intelligence of God, of source, once again, has nothing to do with religion, so please don't try to place me in one box or another. Just receive it as it is, and then perhaps you will make your own conclusions about this material and this information. So because of our divine design and our spiritual anatomy, we have access to parallel realities, parallel versions of ourselves, and we are continuously interacting with these dimensions, with these realities, with different scenarios that are playing out elsewhere and also playing out here on Earth as well. So frequency activation stations, it's not like a physical booth that you walk into and something happens, you get scanned. In airports, because perhaps you've seen a video a reel where I talk about airports and how they scan your frequency. So it's not just that. It doesn't have to look like a booth that you're walking into. Frequency activation stations, they are multidimensional technologies that are encoded into entire journey of our life at different phases, at different stages of our physical maturity, divine intelligence awakening, spiritual evolution, mental, rational expansion of our ability to comprehend and perceive world. So these stations, they are placed and scattered all over the map of our consciousness. And they are placed there, not by them, reptilians and dragons. I'm not going to be mentioning more names or other groups of extraterrestrial beings. These stations are encoded because on a soul level, we have created energetic agreements with either extraterrestrial races, if it is specifically set up using specific intelligence and dimensional technologies that are originating from one cosmic lineage or another, or we have created these agreements with intelligence of angels, archangels, and higher angelic orders, and so on. Perhaps we have created these technologies and activation stations and called them in as a co-creation with our future versions of ourselves, so with intention that when we are stepping into that connection and interaction with the frequency, it awakens our dormant DNA, it awakens sub-dimensions within our system, or perhaps it accelerates spiritual evolution, it accelerates our personal development, and it offers us pathways or offers us specific timelines that we are able to tap into to quantum leap. So it doesn't have to be something negative, it doesn't have to be something that manipulates you or sways you from your sovereign path. Of course, that is also possible if part of your journey is to awaken to your own multidimensionality, to awaken to your own spiritual abilities, and to activate and to remember the codex of how to set your frequency, how to work with your intelligence, how to focus and refocus your awareness, how to even bend time and space, blend timelines, and travel interdimensionally. All of this is available, and this is just the beginning of what we are able to do when we are choosing to master and to refine the art of co-creation with our own frequency. So I invite you to perceive quantum technologies as intelligence rather than something that is like devices and something that is non-empathic or non-serving humanity. Yes, there are some of the creations in the field of creation that are not very loving, but if we are consented to awaken to our multidimensionality, to unplug from specific scarcity programs, limitation grids, paradigms of very dense dimensions, very dense particles of creation, to decode the solidness, to decode negative programming. Perhaps we can be suggested to travel through specific energy portals and energy vortexes that are providing a more intense curriculum for spiritual awakening. But behind every creation, there is a divine intelligence. Even if it does not look like love, it actually is love, just perhaps not in the experience as you are perceiving it, in the purity of it, in a more refined and high dimensional version. The love is one true intelligence that is present and is behind absolutely everything that there is. But once again, if you are choosing in this lifetime to, even for a phase, even for a specific period of time, it does not need to be just one choice made for entire lifetime. It can be something that you transcend and shift and phase out very fast. It can be instant. If you are choosing to transcend duality, you, prior to this incarnation, you set up stations, activation stations, frequency scanning stations, where you are being presented to either connect to a timeline where you are being sovereign, you are being free, or another timeline where the curriculum of how to be sovereign, how to be empowered, how to remember who you are is provided and supported. Or perhaps there is another timeline where, I don't know if you can hear me, but the sounds of birds is very intense, I think. There's a cat or something. Perhaps there are timelines where you need to truly feel that you hold power to make a choice and to choose to return back to love, or to intensify and prolong the journey of seeking, the journey of duality. So frequency scanning technologies and portals, interdimensional portals, they are offering pathways that support your decision. And the decision is done through intelligence of your own frequency, not necessarily through your mind. Overall, if you are living in a way that is not serving your highest truth, it is not truly the way, a pathway of love, most of the time, and occasionally you say something nice and something kind, what is true will always be perceived, because your field, your frequency communicates way before your words do, way before you put on a persona, before you physically arrive somewhere. So your frequency interacts and communicates and shares very authentic and truthful message straight away. So there's nothing that can misinterpret that, or there's nothing that can mess with the truth of who you are. So it's important to invest into our frequency, invest time, invest our energy, invest our attention to make sure that we are truly choosing to connect to ourselves before we are choosing to connect to something outside of us. So in multidimensional structure of existence, everything is frequency, and frequency is not just a vibration. It is an intelligence. It is also a location. It is also an identity, if we choose, and intention that is interwoven into all matrices, into all fabrics of creation. And it is communicating, it is stating and sending out specific impulses, specific signals. So when we are shifting timelines, or when we are making a choice to move from one reality and to enter another reality, it's not just the choice that we make mentally. It's actually altering the blueprint of our frequency and the blueprint of our entire field, very to atomic level, to genetic level, and to the level of our soul. So what we do in everyday reality matters. How we live this life matters, and especially internal dialogue, especially our dreams and visions and intentions that we have and hold within our hearts, hold within our soul. Because the multiverse is so vast, there are organic intelligence systems in place to maintain the coherence of reality. And these, what we may call as frequency scanning stations. In a non-conspiracy way, think of them like light-infused borders crossing or soul-coded gates, placed keys or nodes within different matrices. And frequency scanning or acceleration activation stations, they are encoded into the energetic field. Once again, it's not a physical location that you enter. It is an energetic check-in point that you are drawn to. And if you are interacting with this check-in point, you are the one who has a choice how and where and what into to shift into, or to remain within the same energetic grid and to continue co-creating with the same soul groups, or to continue recycling, relooping, or changing and rewriting energetic agreements with soul groups, with planetary consciousness, with different timelines. So it's like a test. It's like an essay. It doesn't have to be an essay that's been judged by a teacher and reevaluated and reassessed, because there is no teacher. It's just you and yourself, you and the other versions of who you are. And these activation stations are often encoded into relationships, into experiences that are deeply touching and transforming our emotional body. That's why we are drawn to meet other people, even for a moment. That's why we are drawn to specific locations, even for no purpose. Sometimes we are interacting with each other, not even knowing that interaction takes place and in what form it takes place, in the quantum field or behind the field of physical matrix and physical reality, because we all are interconnected and we all are continuously in direct communication and communion with each other. So some relationships, if we are aware of them, great. If we're not aware of them, then it's a little bit more tricky. But if we raise the level of our awareness, so much more becomes more transparent and available to understand, for our understanding. So relationships are often encoded to be activation stations, like a hydration station for your soul, that you are able to experience, through which you are able to experience rapid growth or rapid healing, or sometimes prolonging the journey of confusion. So check up station doesn't have to be something negative. It is always serving the intelligence of love, because beyond everything there is intelligence of love. However, we don't need to be stupid, we don't need to be blind, and we don't need to be naive about multidimensionality. Within the astral plane, there is so much that is happening, and also there are parallel realities, shadow universes, phantom matrices, and all of this. And all of these realities are interconnected with each other. And when we choose to raise the level of our awareness, we become a lot more skillful in mastering the coherence of different realities. We're able to perceive beyond time and space, and not just be blindly somehow managing our life and hoping that it is for the best, but also knowing through precision and through precise understanding and clarity how our actions are, what impact our actions are creating, what type of resonance and what type of ripple effect everything that we do and our frequency input has onto the field of creation, and more relevantly to our soul groups and also to the people who are around us and within the proximity of this lifetime. So frequency activation stations and quantum technologies, they are forms of intelligence that is encoded and placed strategically prior to this incarnation here on Earth of our own consciousness. However, we are not defined and we are not limited by anything. If we are choosing to awaken, if we are choosing to embody, to integrate, and to remember who we are, we begin to shift from one dimensional perception to another. And when we raise our frequency and broaden our understanding and awareness of what multidimensional reality construct actually is, we are able to bypass a lot of frequency scanning stations or even energetic modification temples, and there are so many different spiritual words that I can apply to this. We are able to bypass them because we are not resonating with that specific reality. We are not being referred to that reality. However, when we talk about traveling and shifting grid, not just within ourselves, but also traveling interdimensionally and crossing the borders from one country to another, when we are shifting one planetary location to another, same applies as in airport stations, in airport buildings, right? We have check-in points. You check in, check out, you sign up some declarations and so on. You go through customs. So behind the scenes in the astral plane, we do exactly the same. And within the astral plane, we are open to basically interaction with everything and everyone, unless we know who we are, unless we know how to shield our own energy field, how to support our sovereign energetic dynamic taking place without interaction and interference with anything that is outside of our frequency band. So when we are traveling from one location to another, we are not just energetic, just physically checking in from one location and checking out from one location and checking in into another. Energetically, we do the same. We check out from one agreement with planetary consciousness and check in into another one. Land has own intelligence. It has consciousness. Every country has own consciousness. Every even smallest relocation is timeline jump. So when we are doing big timeline jumps, we are checking into specific scenarios. We are checking into specific reality grids that are already pre-created. And if you are not sovereign, if you're not strong enough within your own spiritual connection, you are suggested to connect to the consciousness of collective, consciousness of majority of people, because we are emanating light, and by emanating our internal light, we are able to create beautiful changes. And I'm inviting you to contemplate on relationships. Why relationships? Because right now, until the 2026, sorry, I'll pick up my dog because she's barking. Because the topic that is highly relevant is relationship. Relationship with self, relationship with your family members, relationship with others, and also relationship with experiences, with planetary consciousness, with consciousness of specific countries where you perhaps were born or perhaps you are traveling to. So truly checking into the aspect of your relationship to the field of creation, to the field of your own reality. Even though we are experiencing collective reality, like one big movie that we all have our roles in, it has not much to do with our individual reality. So when we choose to reassess, reevaluate, reconsider, change our internal narratives, change the way we relate to ourselves, to various aspects of life, truly go deep into the very motion, very intelligence of relating, and find, locate, and identify what is serving you, what has served purpose, and what is no longer serving. And make a better arrangements. Look after yourself by letting go of negative self-talk, or perhaps self-criticism, or perhaps judging self, or judging others, or being mean to others, or being cynical, or fulfilling dreams that were never yours, or living scenarios that you don't even like, having jobs that are not making you happy, wasting your time in relationships that harming your system, or delaying you, or perhaps not serving you the way that you know you are to be served, the way you know that is actually would be better for you. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Don't sacrifice yourself for anything that is clearly dysfunctional. Choose functionality, choose discernment, and choose transparency and truthful between your human awareness and your soul, because everything comes and begins within ourselves. It's not some kind of big mystery that physical reality is a manifestation of our internal reality. And it's true, But more than that, everything that we experience here on a collective level is a direct manifestation of dynamics that are taking place in the quantum field, that are taking place within our personal, individual, and collective DNA strands, and also galactic and angelic DNA strands, and so much more. So this human journey is so much more than just being born, finish the school, get educated / brainwashed, receive specific narratives, and then you're good to go into your adulthood. And your adulthood is having a job, paying taxes, making babies, perhaps traveling. What else? So there are different narratives. You are not to choose anything that isn't truthful to yourself. And even if you think that you are not free, you have to abide, you have to participate, that is an illusion. You don't have to do anything. You are to be free. And the choice to be free and to be sovereign, to be empowered, it's not an invitation or a choice to rebel against anything, because anything and everything is also you. So there is no need to rebel. Witnessing and raising your frequency, connecting to your spirit self, does the job. And everything that is no longer serving you will naturally be dissolved, falling apart, and you would outgrow the realities that are limiting you, or that were limiting you, or that will be limiting you. So frequency check-in points not necessarily need to be in airports or somewhere else. They're everywhere. And we have an opportunity to check in. We have an opportunity to reassess, to reevaluate, and to scan the field of timelines and potential spectrum of realities and energetic dynamics within ourselves. That is available within us, within our own consciousness. I am inviting you to truly discern who you are. So the next year, which is 2026, you would already begin from clarity. You would already begin from connection to yourself, from empowerment, embodiment, and strong, unshakable feeling of confidence, because New Year of 2026 also would be very interesting. It will reveal to us so much more about who we are. It will reveal to us so much more about what this world is. But if you are not choosing to participate in that specific reality, you will have an experience of your own, which would be perfectly mirroring what is available for you to receive, to appreciate, to integrate, to interact with. So fear is not something that we need to co-create with. Distrust, misalignment, betrayal, and scarcity, all of that needs to be put aside. If we want to rise together as one big collective family, we have to be a lot more loving, a lot more kind, a lot more understanding and compassionate with each other. But it's not possible to fake it. It's only possible to live as an embodied true and as a real experience daily and within ourselves. So self-talk, reassessment of how you are having internal conversations with yourself, what intelligence you are choosing to co-create with, what frequency you emanate into your field, what codes are present in your current energetic field. Perhaps there is something that needs to be cleared out. Perhaps there's something that needs to be accelerated. Perhaps there's something that needs to be remembered within yourself. Please make yourself busy with this, and you will see that the next year would be completely different. You would be presented a completely different energetic grid, but it's not going to happen just by miracle. The bridge between every reality is our own frequency. Frequency is intelligence. Frequency is allocation. Frequency is a map. So please perceive your life as one big activation station. Perceive your reality as a continuous journey that offers you invitations to reassess the direction that you're going in, and timelines that you are embodying, and how you are choosing to experience this life is your responsibility. And no one can actually tell you what to do. No one can live this life for you. No one can influence you unless you choose to be influenced. No one can place you into a timeline or reality if you do not consent to that. And right now you may be thinking and asking, well, how did I end up in a reality that is not preferred or is not matching the liking? The consent has been given, perhaps outside of this physical reality, perhaps on soul level. And if there is something that you don't like about your current situation, go deep within yourself, check in, scan, identify, locate, be present, study, observe, and make a better choices. Take aligned actions in the physical reality. Look after yourself, open up your heart wider, and stay present enough with yourself and all that there is to perceive the vastness of this beautiful divine plan that is unfolding through all of us. I'm sending you lots of love, and I wanted to say sunny vibes from island of Bali, but not so sunny, but definitely loving and peaceful vibes. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.